Well, ladies and gentlemen, Stags fans, we're back with another weekly update. Mark, thanks for being with us again. It's been quite a while since we've done one of these after our sort of midweek clash with Romford last week, so it's time to reflect on a few weeks of action. We've got the Romford game, we've got last weekend's game against 𝗕𝗓𝗓𝗧, so let's just take us through October so far and also a trip to 𝗕𝗓𝗓𝗧 as well.
Cool, yeah. So we start with the 𝗕𝗓𝗓𝗧 game. Had some great games with them over the years. I think you documented some. I think we had a 5-4, we had a 4-4. So we know each other teams quite well. They've kept the same. Mark, the manager there, has kept the same set of players mostly. He's very fortunate to get 𝗕𝗓𝗟𝗦𝗧 out, who went to Canby Island, quite deservedly so. He was on loan from Sudbury at the time, but he's now actually with them full time, which is very good for them. They're a very organised side, quite a big back four. We knew that obviously this league is, you play to your strengths. Very good on set pieces. I can see the way they organise themselves. And the first, apart from me warning the players and saying how we're going to play, they put us under the cosh first 15 minutes. A lot of set pieces, a lot of long throws. I don't think we were tight enough. We give people too much space. They already threatened. I think Christian made a good save from a header, cleared one off the line, and then obviously we tried to overplay coming out again. Got punished, ball came back in. Player was acres of space on the edge, 1-0. But we fought back. Jake Brocklebank, I think that was his first game, come into centre mid, needs a bit of game time. He did well, and then we started getting hold of the game. We started stretching it. We started attacking down the wings, create some good chances. Scored a bit of a controversial goal because there was a foul in the build-up, and I think a lot of people thought, as I did, the ref blew before the ball in the net. But consultation with lines, and he gave it. Fortunate for us. So we got back in the game 1-1. Probably should have, forced to keep into good saves, and probably should have gone in front. Second half, I felt we were flat. We got done by an offside goal, but it is what it is. You have to take the rough and the smooth on that. I'm sure we'll get one back our way. And I don't think, as much as me making changes, don't think we held the ball well. Harry had some good chances, played well, but really they just managed the game well. So that was 2-1. Disappointing, really. It kind of carried on. It epitomised how our season's gone so far. Then we moved on to the, I think it was the Romford game after that. Romford game had a very mixed season, like ourselves, mixed start. Got some good players in there, but I felt we had enough, more than enough, midweek under the lights. Started like a train. Had 2 or 3 good chances. Ollie put one on a plate for Alfie. He's only, he's young, he's still learning. The goal was gaping and he went for the near post and scuffed it. You see it at any level, but that should have been 1-0. He had another chance when Harry went clean through, pop it up again. He should have just nodded it in, headed it wide. It is what it is. Callum had some good chances. We just took them apart. Probably on my fault or us not recognising it as a team on the field. They were playing a 4-4-2, but they were breaking with pace. We had to check. We chose. Myself and Ted chose to give Carter a start at right back. He'd been at Lincoln City as a scholar, and then we played a boy called Harvey who came in from Walstone as a left back. They were totally outpaced. We pushed, the fullbacks were pushing on too much. Our game management was poor, and they caught us on the break twice. Won a goal, not marking tight enough in the box again, and the second one we give a silly penalty away. Didn't defend. We on the second one, it was our attack. And then we lost the ball on the edge of the area, and our recovery wasn't quick enough. So second half, we changed it a little bit, tried a little bit more on them, created a few chances, but again, I thought they managed the game quite well, and a little bit against the run of play, they went 3 up. Then they had a corner, terrible mark in the game, 4-0. And then we got a consolation penalty. And I reflect on the game after. I know goals change games, but we could have been 4. No disrespect, we could have been 4-5 up easily. And then obviously poor defending. So we then looked at that for playing top of the table, 𝗕𝗓𝗓𝗧𝗓. We thought, we're proper in the hole here. And Ted did some good business. Brought Harvey Brown in from Concord, slotting at centre half. Ethan's still injured. I think he's picked up another injury. He's going to be out for a while. Slotted in next to Preston. Ted slotted in at left back because Georgie's injured. And Liam went back to right back. Ollie was away. Callum was away. Josh came in as captain. with Archie. Demi played in there, and the wind was ferocious, wasn't it? Absolutely ferocious. I don't think it's a case of choosing to go against the wind. I think as our seasons progress, I don't think we've won many tosses ever. No. I think we lost it against it. They're a very big side. You know, I always do my markings on who to pick up before the game, and I'm thinking, God, they got about 6 bigger than anything we've got. Obviously, Reece was one of our tallest. But anyway, I thought we coped quite well. Christian was called into duty for his club, Aveley, because their keeper was away. So Andrew came in that we'd used before, and he did very well. He dealt. I mean, he's not the biggest keeper. He dealt with a lot of crosses. He came out to them. I thought he did really well. He pushed them over the bar, made a couple of good saves. But as the game wore on, even against the wind, we were the better side. We you know, they're a big upright side, Little Oakley. You know, typical Essex Senior League team. And we found a lot of gaps in them. We created them a lot of problems. You know, we played in and around their big, tall centre halves. We had 4 or 5 good chances, and then eventually Tyler felt the Tyler and he took it well. Left-hand side of the box, drilled it, and I thought the work rate of the front 4 was very good. I thought we brought in Arthur Massingham from Athletic Newham. He plays for our 18s. He's played for the club for his youth. Been watching him. He's a fantastic talent. I'm sure he can go higher. And he came in, did very well. He tied a bit second half, and then. When we were 1 up, I just felt the game needed the second. We needed the second, and we did have some chances. I think the best one probably fell to Arthur. Keeper made a good save though, but I thought it wasn't the turning point of the game, but I think Little Oakley were kind of playing for a draw at 1-0 down. But the main thing I said to them is, especially, you know, in any game, teams like that don't give away set pieces. They crave for set. When you've got a team that's been like that play like that, House did a little bit the same. I'm not saying they can't play good football, but they crave for the set piece, the long throw, the corners coming in. We give a silly free kick away, free kick. The wall was all lined up, and unfortunately, I'm not going to name names, but the guy on the end of the wall should have done a better job. Turned his back, and it flicked off his shoulder. You know, at the end of that, you know, you can fault the guy giving the free kick away, but to do that, it's wrong-footed. Andrew 1-1. But you thought for a couple of minutes, 2 or 3 minutes, you thought it would liven them up and they could go out and win the game. But I think the manager had to kind of say to them, like, you know, you settled in for a draw.
Yeah. And
they were settling in for a draw at 1-0 down. But I threw people on. I threw Tony Martin on. He picked up an injury. He nearly scored, then picked up another injury. Threw Alfie on. You know, we went for it, and just poor. You know, we got into good positions, but poor delivery from the wingers cost us. And like I say, you could look back at it and say you're 16th in the league, and you drew 1-1 with the league leaders. But even the 2 managers come and said, like, we've nicked a draw there. You played really well. So very happy with kind of the end of it. I do think now that we can try and, with the players we've got to train in here tonight, we can take a little bit more. If we can get a bit of a settled side now, I do think we can move up the table.
So on Saturday we travelled to the dreaded Boroughs Park, where, if I'm correct in saying, we've never won there. But I think to go forward, these are the games where we need to pick up points. And what Christian North reminded us the weekend, his Tilbury side only got 7 points in 7 games in the first few games of the season. So if you're looking at that, they went on to win the league by a fine margin. A big margin. So I think that it can still be done if we want to push for playoffs. So what are you hoping for at the weekend with a trip to White Ensign? Yeah,
I mean, listen, it's a very early in the season still. I'm not thinking about, I'm only thinking about the next game. I don't think, like I said, I think I've said in an interview before, I think our last one at Boroughs Park for Bucketstill under 15s against Great Wakely. The record does go back a long way. We've got a terrible record, even though we played very well against Great Wakely in the last 3 games.
Yeah.
Totally deserved something out of it. We've played 8, lost 8, so I'm sorry. White Ensign last year, I think we beat them at home. We were 2-1 up. 98th minute they equalised. 99th minute they come back to 2-2. They've had a half decent start, but they've had some, like everyone in the league really. Even the Woodfords, the Great Wakelins, even the top sides, have dropped points. So I do think it's a game that we need to take by the scruff of the neck. I do think we're good enough to win the game, but White Ensign aren't going to just lay down. We've got to really kind of apply ourselves now. I've had a few heart-to-heart meetings with players, and I'm going to have more. And I expect more out of them, and I did get more out of them Saturday, and I'm sure we can carry that on.
So just pushing forward, what are you sort of looking for from the squad? Obviously there's been a few players coming in and out. We've got Harvey, we've got a few injuries. Obviously 𝗕𝗨𝗖𝗞𝗛𝗨𝗥𝗦𝗧, who Stags fans you might remember from the start of the season, he's out injured. So what are we looking for going forward? Obviously playoffs, you mentioned you're only looking at the next game.
Yeah, I don't really care about stuff like that at the moment. We've got to concentrate on winning the games, trying to move up the table, taking each week as it comes. Like I say, I'm actually, for the first time this week, actually, apart from Ethan's got himself injured again, for the first time this week, I could probably name you the 16 now for Saturday. I could have done that by Sunday. Myself and Ted discussed it. Obviously, that's it's put a bit of a spanner in the works with Ethan, but I'm hoping now we can keep that kind of settled 16 to 18. We've had a good meeting with Ken and Kevin from the reserves. We're going to try and give them a couple of players as well and try and incorporate one of their boys on the bench in the next few weeks. But I'm happy with the squad. Not overly looking to bring in. If something come up, obviously I'll take a look at him, but we want people committed to the team and all pulling in the same direction.
So Stags fans, final thing is we take on AFC Welwyn next week in the FA Vase. A bit of an update on that. We were planning to play them at 𝗕𝗨𝗖𝗞𝗛𝗨𝗥𝗦𝗧 FC, if I'm correct in saying. That is going to be changed by their statement on social media. We'll give you a full update in the next few days when we can, but at the moment we are none the wiser of where that game is going to be played at the moment and what the FA and AFC Welwyn decide to do. But Mark, thank you for your time again as always, and we will see you on the weekend on Saturday.
Cheers, Harry, all the best.
Thank you.
Cheers, guys.